What are we calling the show this year?
This is the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
Patriots Chinwag, Patriots Before the Game Show.
Jones, he's throwing it toward Thornton, left corner of the end zone, caught, touchdown New England.
Hey, it's the Patriots.
Patriots Pregame Show is your source for all the latest news and information before every game.
He tucked into the house again.
Here we
and
go.
The Patriots take the lead.
With Hardy,
I got rhythm. I got.
Mike Dussault,
You have a Mike impression in there too.
Paul Perillo,
Refusal to make a pick. We'll cross him off the list then.
and Tamara Brown.
I see Tamara's not in the room. Send my love to her, please. I'm a big fan.
Tamara, Brandon loves you.
Patriots Nation, welcome to the Patriots Pregame Show, presented by Dunkin.
I can't wait. Welcome in, Patriots Pregame, fueled by Dunkin. Hardy, Mike Dussault, Tamara Brown, and Paul Perillo here at Gillette Stadium, getting ready for the Patriots as they welcome the San Diego Superchargers of Los Angeles here this afternoon.
I think that's what their name is.
That's what I call them.
That's fine. We know who you're talking about.
They will always be the San Diego Superchargers, and I will grant them the respect of saying of Los Angeles. That's what they are.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, it's raining in Foxborough, and yes, I am a weatherman now. Morel, don't even try it. It's gross out there. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to impact what is likely to be a low-scoring affair to begin with, but I don't think it's going to help things. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to predict. I don't know what to say. I'm going to let everyone else talk today, and I'm just going to point with my pen. And when someone gets on top, I'm just going to point to someone else. And I don't know. I don't know what to make of this team anymore. I truly don't. The one thing I can say is I think we'll get a different look at quarterback today, Deuce.
Bailey Zappy.
Yep.
Sounds like it. Maybe Malik Cunningham too, which I guess he was elevated from the practice squad. So it seems like maybe the Patriots are at least looking to, obviously change the quarterback position, but maybe try to lean a little bit more into the run. Maybe put Cunningham out there and let him try to eat against this Chargers defense. So. Wet conditions, maybe that'll maybe make them lean even further into the run game a little bit. We'll see.
What do you think, Tamara?
I don't want to say too much because it's going to go into my key, and I have to save all my
Okay,
juice
that's
for
fine.
me.
That's fine. That's fine. Do you now? Would you like to remain mute and save it for your key as well, Paul?
No, I'll have one for you guys. So Mike brought up Cunningham. What do you think the odds are that we see all three quarterbacks today?
Oh, I would say close to 0.
Same.
Yeah, I would say 0, but I think 2.
I'd say 50-50.
I would say Cunningham. Yeah. I think we'll see Cunningham and Zappy. I don't know. I think Mac might be dependent on performance. I don't think we'd see Mac. If,
that's why I think 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't think
if
that.
Zappy
I
looks
think there's like a
crappy.
1% chance.
If Zappy looks crappy, then maybe they'll be happy to put in Mac.
I think they'll just start handing the ball off.
Yeah.
If it's that bad.
Same.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I
there's
think.
no point of putting Mac Jones in these conditions outside. He's not going to make anything any better.
And what about I don't mean to argue with you, Paul, but let me.
I'm not arguing.
Let me
about
argue
anything.
with you, Paul. If you think it's 50-50
Yes.
that you see Mac today,
It's early.
how bad would Zappy have to be in order for them to say, I bet Mac wouldn't have done that. Let's put him in.
Last week. If the offense looks like it did last week, when neither guy can get anything going, only Zappy goes first, maybe they decide to make a change. And I agree with Mike. I think there'll be a package for Cunningham. So he might get a snap or two like he did against the Raiders. I just don't dismiss it. More than likely it's going to be Zappy. I'm with everybody.
I'll dismiss it.
Who knows? Maybe they'll make Mac Jones the emergency third quarterback and we won't see him at all. I think he'll be active.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
We'll get the inactives here in a while, and that will tell us by process of elimination who is active. See how that works?
Right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Very good.
Did you want to do the
Brilliant.
keys? That you're really excited
Yeah,
about
let's
your
just
key.
get to the keys because Samara's like chomping at the bit over here.
I don't know. It must be really good.
Why did you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. You've waited all week for it.
The whole team's in the locker room right now just listening to this, waiting to hear what you're going to say.
Without these keys, the Patriots are destined and doomed to fail.
Here are Hardy, Paul, Mike, and Tamara's keys to the game.
Why did I steal your key to the game also? Keys to the game. The current key holder is Mike Dussault, as decided by Pat and Agawam last week. He will decide again this week, as he is the first caller on the board already, and we'll find out what Pat thinks before we
let
go.
Patty know he's on notice.
Yeah.
Well, before
Did not care for
Feel
his
kinda
choice last
undeserving.
week.
Hey, he makes the choice, and he is the
He
supreme
does.
ruler when it comes to
Absolutely.
the key. So Tamara is all excited about her key. She won't to give anything away. So what is your outstanding key to the game for Patriots victory today, Tamara?
My outstanding key for a Patriots victory today is to answer Sandra Bullock's phone call. And you're probably like, what do I mean?
Who's Sandra
What do you mean?
Bullock?
You already know my favorite show, Run the Dang Ball.
Run the dang
And I didn't
ball.
want to say Run the Dang Ball because we've used that too much this week, so I switched it up and said that instead. And I need the Patriots to lean on the run game today, not just because of the weather, but because they really have a thing going. And last week, they were moving the ball pretty well. Then they went away from it and started throwing the ball, obviously because they were down and needed to get some points on the board. But I think they can wear down this defense against the Chargers, who is allowing more than 100 yards on the ground. And I think they can take advantage of that. And this is a good opportunity when you have Zappy getting his start. So
I had something all
Yeah.
snarky ready to go. It's like, here's why your key sucks. But I like your key.
No.
I like it. I didn't make the Sandra Bullock connection initially. I thought it was something speed related.
Oh.
I mean, like, well, she
I
didn't
thought the lake
call-
house. I was just thinking lake house,
Okay.
I don't know.
Wondering
I
how
don't know
gravity
why.
worked into the whole thing.
Well, I'm
The season's coming crashing to earth.
it's
phones
funny
on that
It's
spaceship,
funny
I
when
know.
when I wrote it, I was like, I wish I had a flip phone because she's like on her little flip phone, and she's like, did he just hang up on me? I need him to like answer the phone today and
Okay.
run the ball, lean on it, run this Chargers defense down, and
Damn it!
open
It's a
things
good.
up.
It's a good key.
It's a good key.
It's a good key. It's a movie reference, which I appreciate. I think it's got some solid football sense behind it. All right,
All right.
strong start, Deuce. What
Yep.
do you got, current key holder?
All right, well,
Gozer.
I wanted to. I like Tamara's. Mine's actually a little bit of a tribute to Tamara because she likes to call Justin Herbert Jay Herbo. So I said, don't let Jay Herbo be Superbo. We're getting punchy with these keys here down there.
Hardy's face
As
right now.
Hardy and Paul share
I blame you.
a dismissive, angry
This is your
glance
fault.
at my key. That's all right. You guys have good ones. I'll let you talk about that. I just think for me
not
that
really.
I think the big way, and maybe this is affected by the rain a little bit, but I just I think with the deep coverage with the Patriots, we've had some issues. So I just think that's to me the biggest key to the game, at least as far as the Patriots defense. If they give up big plays, if Justin Herbert's able to make those downfield passing plays, big scoring plays, get the Patriots in a hole, it's just not a formula for success at all to them. So I wanted to be kind of complimentary of what you guys are about to talk about with the Patriots' own quarterback situation, but highlighting Justin Herbert, and it does sound like Keenan Allen's going to go despite missing 2 of the 3 practices this week. So
Now, did you have to? Here's my one question on your key. Did you have to include the J? Does Tamara always call him Jay Herbo?
I think so.
I do.
Yeah, she does.
Not just Herbo?
Herbo.
No.
Because just for
Jay Herbo.
just for syllable matching, you'd be better off.
Don't
with
let Herbo be Superbo.
Thank you.
Don't let Jay. All right. Well, I'll take that note with the pentameter
He
as
does
of
lose
my
points
key.
for that. I think
But
Hardy's right.
We'll see how.
I give you a lot of notes like Fred
mean-
Willard did in Waiting for Guffman.
Yeah.
Give notes, to his wife
you come in-
after performances.
I mean, you were gifted a key last week. I'm not sure we can do it again with that lack of the lack of balance there with the syllables.
Fine.
How about it, Paul? What do you got for your key?
I don't really have anything.
So do you want to remain mute for the entire pregame?
No, I just it's part of the offense, and I think it needs to change. And you have to make Zappy happy. You can't just run the ball and throw screen passes and expect to win NFL games on a consistent basis. You're going to score 7 points like you did last week.
Yeah.
So they have to find a way to get him comfortable and have him making some throw. I'm not talking about going like all Herbo and throwing it all over the field, but they have to take some shots. They have to dial up some play action and see if they can make some big plays, because I think they will be able to run the ball. I think they will be able to, throw some screen passes. That won't put points on the board. What puts points on the board is big plays, and they need to make some. And I think they have to try to do it with Zappy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you need to do it with Zappy and with Malik Cunningham, which is why my key is give us a peek. Sneak in Malik. Sneak him in there. I don't know. Maybe some
a lot
third
of
down
rhymes.
situations.
It's a lot of rhymes, Michael.
Might as well. I think we know what Mac Jones is. We're going to get a look at Bailey Zappy today. Don't we know what Bailey Zappy is? I think
Mostly.
we know. The one thing.
That's why I don't really have much of my key.
Well, okay, and we probably know what Malik Cunningham is, but not to a certainty. We do with Mac Jones for a certainty. We're pretty certain on what Bailey Zappy is. What's Malik Cunningham? Really? Is he just something that, might be useful down the road? Not quite sure the role. Is there something there at the quarterback position and some different packages? Just to give us a little peek. Sneak in Malik. That's the key. Triangulation of crossfire. That's the key.
I mean, technically, we did have a peek like a couple weeks ago. It just wasn't the peek that everyone wanted to see.
You did get a peek.
A peek at Malik?
Little peek at Malik
we had a
against the
little peek.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
That was a long time.
I love it. I love it, Hardy. I love it. I was kind of being snarky yesterday when I saw that they elevated him. I was like, oh, here we go again. But kind of as I thought about it, I kind of am on your page now, where it's just, you're right. Like we've seen Zappy. I just want to. Let's
this
get a
feels
sense
like
of him
him
a little
trying
bit.
to campaign for me to make up for the injustice that was done to me last
He's
week.
embarrassed.
Can I tell you?
Frankly, I'm embarrassed.
Can I tell you who should get the key this week, and we'll see if.
I don't know. You're going to try to influence the voting.
No,
I don't know about
Yeah,
this.
I wouldn't
It
influence
seems like
voting.
you're
It didn't work well for me last week.
right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, Judge Patty, I know who should get the key, but let's see if you agree with us here as you anoint the new key holder for the week, or will it be retained by Mike Dussault? Cousin Pat?
Yeah, Mike, how far are we falling from grace? Come on, dude.
What?
So, Mike, who I think
It's a lot better than his one from last week.
Sorry, Samara. Sorry, Hardy. But I got to give it to Paul.
Oh!
You shameless suck up, you, Pat.
Okay.
No, if you want to score points,
Thank you very
have
much.
to produce big plays. You can't just run these stupid little 2-yard screen passes and expect what limited talent we have on the outside to get down the field. It's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Pat. What else do you have on the game today? I don't want to limit you to just anointing the key holder. Yeah, you have some thoughts of your own.
Yeah. Before I do though, I got to give a big shout out to Ian Fresno because I know he's been recovering. I've been meaning to give him a shout out the last few times I've called and emailed in, but I'm an idiot, so it slipped my mind. But yeah, I'm just really interested to see how the offense looks with Zappy if they do have a little bit of spark as opposed to like sticking them in at the end of the game or at the start of the second half, just to see what kind of energy not just the offense but just the whole team brings with him out there. Yeah. And I'll leave it to you. I'll leave it to you guys, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Pat. Thank you.
He's
Congratulations.
Kind of like an NFL official a little bit. Like sometimes he's calling it one way, and then other times he's letting things go. You can't really get him down for what the necessary elements are for the key to the game. To get the key.
Right.
I will say
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Paul's key. That was what I wrote for my roundtable for like what type of offense should they design for Zappy today. I wrote something similar. I was like, I really feel like they should go back and look at that Lions game, sorry, Hardy, from when he started against them and design something similar because he didn't do a bunch of screens in that game. He had some plays.
Play action was a big part of that.
And so I think that I'm hoping that they pull some things out of that and use it against the Chargers today.
Do you think Paul read your round table and stole it for his key?
No, he did it first.
No, he did it first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He has access to everything in this building.
I would also need to read that. I don't read my own stuff, let alone anybody else's.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're 2-9, guy. It's falling on hard times, man. It's been tough. It's been tough. You think you have it hard, Hardy? At least you have other sports to talk about. Well, we got to talk about a 2-9 team.
Bruins.
Also,
Celtics.
Every day.
Wouldn't it be
Every damn day.
if Zappy wins today? Because that'd be 2 throwback wins that he started and won.
Oh, yeah. That's
Secret sauce.
Here we go. Red uniform.
Oh, a lot of uniform talk. Oh, did you see the Chargers uniform today? Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're not even wearing like any of the 17 combinations they have that are awesome. They're wearing none of them.
Plain
they're
white
wearing
ones.
white.
In the rain, that's a little risky, too.
Because they're going to get soiled?
It's going to be a wet uniform contest. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
you can see right through these things.
Oh, that's right.
Well, and you're very excited about that, obviously.
Of course. Of course.
I don't know, Tamara. Like, does he make you uncomfortable? He makes me uncomfortable.
I can't. Hardy's face right now.
Deuce is onto something, though.
Right?
Because some of these young men don't wear a tremendous amount underneath their pantaloons.
Oh, that is correct.
And
you're going to get like the jock strap shot.
You get a little more than
you bargained for
today. Strap on the
if
side
you're
of the
lucky,
buttock.
you'll get the jock strap. Does Fernando Ramirez, our guest behind the enemy lines, want to talk about wet uniforms, or does he want to talk actual football?
Hopefully he wants to talk a little football.
We will find out. Let's go.
You know the view from New England.
We go behind enemy lines.
But what about the view from the other side?
And that's why you're our favorite pregame show guest every year.
You guys know you tell everybody that.
Oh, yeah?
I was on with you guys in 2018, Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
And I was told I was the favorite guest of the show.
Nope. No.
Time now to go behind enemy lines.
My God, it's coming right for us.
Joining us now behind enemy lines is Fernando Ramirez from the Sporting Tribune on X at Real F Ramirez. Fernando, thanks for joining us here. It's Hardy and Mike and Tamara and Paul. How are you this morning?
I'm good, thank you. You guys got me up early. I mean, it's West Coast time. We're not supposed to be up until about 10, 11 o'clock, and you know, I know that's what the narrative is out there. So beautiful weather and everything, but I appreciate you guys for having me on.
All right, we appreciate you being up at 8 a.m. and say you don't sound like an 8 o'clock in the morning voice. You sound ready to go. Let's do it.
Hey, I'm ready to go. You gotta be ready to go at all times. So I'm up and I'm an early riser. Lucky for you guys, I'm an early riser. So
all right.
I'm out there trying to get that bread at all times.
These 10 a.m. I used to live on the West Coast. 10 a.m. starts what I miss most about it. So I'm a little bit jealous. But hey, Fernando, question just about Keenan Allen. I mean, I know he missed 2 or 3 practices this week. What are you kind of expecting him to be like today? And just generally with the team, he's so targeted more than anybody else. How do you kind of explain just Herbert's connection with him, and is that a problem of him not really having those secondary targets develop yet?
So obviously, when it comes to Keenan, he said on Friday that he expects to go. That's the indication that everybody's gotten. I mean, it'd be tough to try and get Keenan off the field, and especially the way he's playing right now. I mean, the guys, the last 3 games, 175, 2 touchdowns, 116, 1 touchdown, and 106 last week. I mean, that connection right now, I said it I asked Keenan during training camp, does it feel like you and Justin could go out there with blindfolds on and find each other? He's like, that's the way it looks like, huh? He's like, you guys are going to have to be ready for this season. This season it's going to be even more like that, and that's what it's been this season. But the problem is no Mike Williams, no Josh Palmer. Well, Quentin Johnston and other guys have had to step up. Unfortunately, they just haven't done it yet, and that's why they're on a 3-game skid. That's why they haven't been as good as what everybody had hoped. Mike Williams going down, Corey Linsley, center, going down. That's really hurt this Chargers offense. And Herbert going to Keenan Allen is automatic. It's just everybody else needs to step up, and that's why the Chargers haven't won in 3 weeks and in the last 3 games. So it's really hurt them, and I feel like moving forward, Keenan's going to get his. He'll get over 100 yards. That's basically what's been expected this year of him, but it's everybody else who needs to contribute, and it just hasn't come together in Kellen Moore's offense.
I have a question just about how the Chargers have lost 5 games by 3 points or less. Just identifying the root of that issue. Is it, Staley and his decisions based off analytics? Is it how competitive the NFL is? Or is it because the Chargers defense is really struggling?
It's because they want us to not be able to write up until the end of the game. Where
I appreciate that.
I met a journalist and he's like, "Oh, should I just start writing now at the 4th quarter?" I'm like, "No, wait until the end. Like it always comes down to the end."
Don't tell me this today.
But to be completely honest, the way they've been doing it, and I give the opposing defense credit. They've been able to get home with 4 pass rushers or 3 or stuff like that. But at the end of games is when they're sending the pressure because they know the Chargers offensive line can't handle 5, 6 guys. The way they've lost those close games has been the same way every single time. They send 5, 6. They sent, like Miami sent the house. Baltimore sent a couple of guys, sent about 6 or 7 players. They know at the end of games they're not going to be able to go. And then if you go look at that play out with Baltimore, the 4th and 6, Justin hikes the football. No receiver had turned around. No tight end had turned around. So Justin just kind of looked and he went, well, I'm going to have to throw it into the ground. And he throws it into the ground.
because nobody had turned around. So that's kind of been the problem this year, is that defenses are dialing it up at the end, and everybody, and they're just doubling Keenan and letting everybody else go free, and the other guys just can't get separation. I think Herbert is like the second. His weapons are the second worst at getting open in the NFL. So that's really that's kind of really hurt them, especially in crunch time situations, because defenses are just playing them well. But in the Detroit Lions game, it was more about the Lions offense just performed so well, and they were able to kind of take the Chargers offense away, and especially after they scored 5 touchdowns in a row. But basically, it's been great calls by the defensive coordinators at the end of games.
Fernando, I'm just curious your thoughts on the overall mindset of the team. You know, that they've been disappointing at 4-7. You know, I know Staley's been under a lot of fire. How do you think the team has been in terms of overall effort, and are they still sort of in the playoff hunt in your mind?
No, I don't think they're in the playoff hunt. I had said after the Jets game, I thought that was going to be their last win of the season, and it's not just because of this or that. It's just I've been around this team long enough to know when it's kind of like they're kind of undermanned and unmatched, and that's the way it is right now. They just on offense they don't have a lot. On defense, it's that bad that like people are even questioning if Derwin James is still an elite safety, which he is. Derwin James is an incredible talent, but the thing is, in Brandon Staley's defense, he has him doing so much that Derwin has to go to different positions and do different things. But Khalil Mack said it. He's like, I don't care, because Khalil Mack right now is on pace to get about 20 sacks, which is the greatest of his career. But he's like, that S doesn't matter. He's like, you guys can fill in the blank there with S. Mm-hmm. But he's like, that doesn't matter. What matters is that we need to win, and I'm not doing it. Khalil Mack is 32 years old. And I mean, obviously he's closer to the end of his career than he is the beginning, so he feels the frustration. He wants to win, and this team just isn't doing it. But effort, yeah, they're still putting in effort. They played Baltimore really hard last week, and Baltimore by many, not by me, by many are considered a Super Bowl contender. But it's just the effort is there. The thing that isn't there are the plays. The plays when you need them. They're not there, and the defense is just kind of a mess also. So it's not a lack of trying. It's just a lack of execution. That's the thing that's lacked, execution this season for this team.
Well, we get accused of being negative, and Fernando Ramirez from the Sporting Tribune says, here, hold my their win against the Jets in Week 9 was their last win of the season take. Now
they have twice as many wins as we do.
That's right. So
I love how you threw my name out there and everything. As soon as I said, you're like, yeah, look at this. So I mean, it's just, hey, it's not negativity. We're just telling the truth from our point of view. That's just, and there's no, it's just. That's just the way it is. That's the way I kind of see it. So
no, that's fine.
I'm sure that's the way you guys see it as well.
Okay, so 2 quick questions for you to wrap here. Number 1, does Brandon Staley get fired if his team loses to this team today?
I don't think. I think it'd be. I mean, I don't know how I want to answer this. To a lot of people, yes. I mean, fans would have fired him a couple of weeks ago, but I don't think that's not the Spanos family MO. The last time they fired somebody mid-season was in 1998, and it was Kevin Gilbride. But I just don't see them doing that mid-season. I think they'll wait out of respect and everything. I think they'll wait until I think they'll wait until after the season. But I mean, if you lose to the I mean that's going to be that's a rough way to keep on going, especially if I mean. I don't know if they believe that Kellen Moore is a contender to be a head coach, but if he is, I mean, you might as well should see what he has the last 4 or 5 weeks. But I'd be very surprised if they didn't wait until after the season to relieve him of his duties.
Okay. Well, having said all that, do you have a score prediction for today's game?
Well, yeah, I thought it's raining and everything, so I said 16-15 Patriots.
Oh, God.
Hey, you guys wanted add a one. You guys are asking me about the one-score games. Let's just add a sixth game into that one.
Yeah.
So
No, I was just going to say, Fernando, if we could compile all of our picks from our behind the enemy lines guests and our picks here in studio throughout the season, I would say the overwhelming majority have the Patriots at least scoring in the teens at the most, and a lot of times the opponents the same way. A lot of 17-13, 16-15. That's a scoregami, though. Yeah. I mean, that I don't think we've had that prediction yet, but I'm kind of with you. That's kind of what it's feeling like.
That's the MO of both teams, though.
Yeah.
That's how both teams have been, and honestly, the Chargers have kind of played down to opponents, especially on the road. I mean, Green Bay, now all of a sudden, going into this game against Kansas City, you're like, hey, you know what? They possibly could have a chance, especially after beating the Chargers. The Chargers got them jump-started, but then they beat the Lions, and now everybody thinks, you know what? This Sunday Night Football game might be more interesting than what people think, and that's kind of been the MO of the Chargers. Their defense hasn't been able to pick it up, and then the offense outside of Keenan Allen is just Austin Eckler hasn't picked it up, Joshua Kelly. Like, they just haven't been able to consistently move the football and score it. So it's just hard, and I think the Patriots are still a good team. They're still a solid team. Like, that's still Bill Belichick over there, and that's where I kind of see it. Bill Belichick.
Fernando, just to let you know, they're not. Yeah. They're not a good team. They're 2-9, and they should be 2-9.
I understand that, but I meant like that's still Bill Belichick over there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, you kind of still have to respect the mind that he is and everything that he's done. So when I look at it as the head coach versus the head coach, I mean, Bill Belichick obviously is a great mind. I'm sure he wants to win before whatever happens at the end of the season. So
maybe he's going to end up out there with you.
Gonna beat him.
Right. Well, we didn't even. You know what?
We'll leave that for another day.
We'll leave that for next time. We'll leave that for next time. Hey, Fernando, great stuff as always. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you guys so much. Happy holidays to you, your listeners, and your families, and thank you so much for having me on.
Our
Same
pleasure.
to you, Fernando.
Thank you.
There he goes. Fernando Ramirez. You can follow him on Twitter at RealFRamirez and read him in the Sporting Tribune.
Took a run at the top 10, I think.
We've had him on before.
Wonderful guy today.
Yeah, he's really good.
That's really
some personality, long answers,
pleasant.
He's a
lot of information.
He's a delight.
Huh? He's just a delight.
Yeah,
charming.
Nice balance too.
And we got a pick.
The show.
Yeah.
We did 16-15.
Yikes.
Oh my God,
is that 5 field goals versus
I think
1 and 4.
Nah, I think it's a couple of touchdowns and a conversion thrown in there. Sure, why not?
Or safety.
Math.
No, the other one that. Oh my God.
2 touchdowns. They go for 2 once. Staley does that a lot.
I will say, there were a lot
missed extra point and a safety.
Oh,
there we go.
No.
There were a lot of interesting things that he said, but I thought it was interesting that he said only Keenan Allen can create separation and that no one else can. And I'm like, that sounds familiar. It sounds like the Patriots offense. So I'm like, how could another team be in the same boat as them in their wide receiver room?
It's hard.
I just find it hard
it's
to
hard to find guys. I mean, they have one. At least they got one. Quentin Johnson was a guy that we talked a lot about last offseason. I think there were plenty of listeners that wanted to consider him. I'm curious just to see him out here today, how he looks. But tough day for maybe downfield passing. We'll see.
Well,
does it seem like that?
Yeah, it's just kind of wet.
It's not windy, is it?
Mm-mm. It's just
catch the ball.
wet and cold.
They have all these gloves and all this stuff to deal with this. It's not like a monsoon.
No. But it's the Chargers.
I mean, I was so
like
quick
coming
from the parking lot. I was zigging and zagging between those raindrops, dude.
Oh, man.
I didn't even get wet on the way from the parking lot.
I would have liked to have seen that.
Pop, pop, bang.
My poncho says otherwise. My poncho says otherwise.
Is it raining heavily now? Because when I got here, it wasn't really raining.
What'd you do with that poncho?
I can't tell you.
Just consistent.
Did you put it on the chair?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, well, that seems a little rude.
Well,
for whoever's going to sit in that chair next.
It's me.
Well,
that's my chair.
That'll
She's
be
the
nobody.
problem. It's her.
That's my chair.
What's your
You're
chair?
really going to go
That
with that
is.
until that Chiefs game is over, huh?
I sit in that chair during PU during the week. That's my chair.
What if somebody were to come in right now? What if we have an in-studio guest and they go to sit in that chair?
We don't have any
We don't.
scheduled. I have the list right
Get
here.
a wet
Show it to you. I can read it back for you.
I don't need it read back to me.
Okay.
It's very dark out there, too. I can't remember the last time I came in for a 1 o'clock game and saw the lights on in the stadium.
I know, usually it's
it
when
is.
we're leaving.
That I agree. It's very dark. Maybe they won't be able to see the ball.
This is
dark.
turn the lights
I
off.
saw one of the games I was watching, and the guy immediately, it was like a deep ball down. You know when the guy just doesn't react to the deep ball?
Yeah.
And he immediately started giving it one of these. Like,
right, just to let everybody
just
know.
in case any of the 80,000 people in the stands didn't know. I couldn't see that. I didn't see it.
I would have caught it.
I would have caught it.
If I saw it, definitely.
Right.
Didn't see it.
I forget which game it was.
Can't.
Well, let's go back to the phones here. 855-PATS-500. Email webradio@patriots.com. Kendall is in North Carolina. Kendall, you're up. What do you got for us?
Hey, good morning. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Yeah, my question is for Paul. Paul, I'm a big fan of yours, man. One of my best Patriots guys to follow on Twitter and listen to on Patriots just throughout the week.
Yeah, he's really good.
Thank you.
I like.
Thank you, Ken.
I like his takes and whatnot. My question is, how soon after the season do you think a decision will come on Belichick? That's the first part of my question.
It's a great question.
The second question is, what do you see, like, if we do bring Bill back? Will he? Obviously, I don't think he'll be doing the GM duties. He'll probably bring in an outside GM. But is there any other alternative besides that?
Yeah, I think it's a great question in terms of the time frame. And Mike and I were just talking about it before the show started. I do think it would be in the Patriots' best interests if they're going to move on to just do it immediately. On January 8th, just make an announcement and then figure out the rest and not haggle over compensation or, in terms of draft picks if you go somewhere else or payment, whatever you owe them. I think it would be best for the team to just move on if that's what they choose to do. If he stays, then I think you'd find that out right away. What my fear is they're going to drag their feet, and that's going to mean that Bill's not going to be back, but Bill's not going to quit, and I wonder if the Krafts are going to fire him. So there's this gray area that everybody's sort of in limbo, waiting to figure out, well, is Gerard Mayo the next coach? If not, is someone else coming in? If that's the case, who's going to be in the personnel department? Is Matt Groh and Elliott Wolf? Do those guys stay? I think it's obviously an enormous offseason for the Patriots. They need to figure out what their path is going to be and who's going to be making those decisions, in terms of the draft, in terms of the free agency and how they want to start this rebuild. So I think it's a great question. I don't have an answer for it, but my choice would be to do it quickly.
I'm with Paul. I think that everyone's saying, like, oh, you can't fire him. He's the greatest coach of all time. You can't fire him on Black Monday. You have to wait. You can't do it right after the end of the season. But I'm like, you need to just rip the Band-Aid off, because I think waiting around doesn't really help the situation at all. And I understand, like, yes, he's won 6 Super Bowls here. He's done a lot for this club. But I think that just for the sake of this organization moving forward, it's just best to just rip the Band-Aid off.
All right, Kendall.
One more thing.
Yeah.
This last one. One more thing. How many more games do we have to lose to guarantee us a top 3 pick?
Well, it all depends what the other teams do.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
It's not decided in a vacuum. But I'd be real worried if they won 2 more on the way in. I think that might screw it up real good for you.
Yeah, it would probably hurt, but I think 2 would be okay.
Still be in the top 5.
They'd still be in the top.
Nobody
Well,
with
he said
3.
top 3.
Yeah, I think they'd be all right with 2, but because I think the other teams are going to win a game. I think Arizona. If Kyler Murray keeps playing, they'll win a game or 2 as well. I don't know about Carolina.
Yeah. All right, Kendall. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you. 855-PATS-500, webradio@patriots.com for the electronic mail like this one from John in California. You guys are the best.
That's right.
The most enjoyable Patriots product this year. The only one I'm making a point of watching. Thank you. On to Zappy. He must be the most motivated player in the NFL today. If he can win a few games, he is simultaneously making the case for his continued employment and eliminating his strongest competition, a top 2 draft pick. Yes, his new competition would be someone from the draft. I get what you're saying. I have to admit, I've become a tanker, but if he can string together some wins, it's almost worth it.
Tankanon?
Yeah. Okay, John in California, thank you for the email and thank you for the kind words. So, interesting.
It is an interesting way to look at it.
Zappy must be the most motivated player playing a game today in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I like his rationale.
Why not?
Like, I can not only establish myself as a legitimate NFL player, but I can make it harder for the team to get a guy in here that will be the future.
Yeah, and I think based on getting thrown into the end of the game, like nobody's gonna really judge him as harshly off of that. But seems like he's had the week to prepare. He's been the starting quarterback, so I mean, no question. Prove that you can even just be a backup. That's what we talked about this week. Like a backup quarterback is something that this team is going to need. As much as everybody wants to, get on who the next starter might be, but if he's able to go out there and at least look functional and can manage things, and God forbid, don't throw a turnover, maybe you have something.
I said that the past few weeks. I was like, I feel like it's not fair, and obviously life isn't fair. The way he's been thrown into the games this season, it's like impossible situations where it's like, all right, there's no timeouts left. You have to go down and score and put the team on your back. And it's like, and also share reps all week long. But this week, reportedly he had most of the reps, followed by Malik Cunningham. And I think that having a full week of preparation, I feel like we're finally hopefully going to see, okay, what does Bailey Zappy have to offer? Can he be a backup like you mentioned?
I just think the thing that's hard, though, a little bit is that if you are saying he's going to be a backup, then that's life with a backup. You're going to get thrust into situations unexpectedly and, without much time to kind of get focused or have the week to prepare. So, it is a little bit of a conflicting kind of thing.
No, but the only one that he got put in, I think, as a backup was last week.
Yeah.
Where, like, let's just say that Matt got hurt at the end of the half and he just had to go out and play the second half. Like, 34-0 against the Saints, whatever it was. I don't know. 38-3 against Dallas. The last drive in the Colts game is really tough. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't generally happen, where a guy comes in and the game was on the line.
Which, by the way.
But last week was a legitimate backup quarterback scenario.
Yeah, it was. And it was a pretty big spot to go in at the end of that Colts game. And forgetting everything about, like, the history and the dignity of it and the respect and all that, that's when this team should have fired their head coach after the Colts game in Germany. That's when it would have happened in a sane, reasonable world.
There have been plenty of instances this year where in a sane, reasonable world, the coach would have been gone.
Yes, but we've all made our peace. Hopefully that's we're not living in a sane, reasonable world, and the question about when it could happen is an interesting one. Back just to the idea of Zappy and being in a big spot today. To Paul's what? No, go ahead. What is it, Giggles?
You had back to the original point. It was just funny the way you did it. You shook your head a little bit. You were very theatrical.
They're insulting your hosting style.
That's usually Mike's lane. He's very theatrical.
I'm just going to eat a donut now. I need something.
All right. So what is your point? Back to what original point?
Drop the pen. Push the mic.
You okay? Hold on. Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I feel like Rupert.
May I go to the bathroom, please? Thank you.
Lil Hardy.
Oh, my God.
It's like a Dorf on golf bit. No, you still think that maybe Mac could end up in this game today?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Based on performance.
I don't think so.
Been spotted out there
I think
he might not even be active.
It's giving New York Jets where move to emergency quarterback vibes. That's what this is giving me today.
I just think if Zappy gets the start, which is almost certainly going to happen, then they're going to let him play. They're going to let him play, and they're going to see it. They're going to see what he can do, and for all the reasons that we were just talking about, and I'm starting to agree with. Maybe he makes enough of a statement here in the final few games where they start to rethink the idea of, oh God, if we end up with like the second overall pick, oh my God, who could we get?
Right.
Maybe he starts to give them something to think about. And in order for them to really have a good idea and think, they got to let him play. They can't poor performance put Mac back in. I think it's a borderline ridiculous notion. And they can't afford to be made to look ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Now you get the hell out of here.
Oh yeah. I heard that story.
It's a big leap. It's a big leap. It's a big leap for me to think that it's a big leap for me to think that Bailey Zappy's going to make like a claim on a starting quarterback job in the NFL here today.
Oh no, and I agree with you, Mike. I don't think it's about. I think it's more about what we were talking about all week in the backup.
I don't want to deal with the whole the defense gets a pick six. The Herbert they're not playing well, and Bailey Zappy just doesn't turn it over. And
was kind of the Bailey Zappy MO.
Right. And that's if the Patriots win the game today, I think that's what it's going to look like. And and then we'll have to deal with but maybe the team played a little better with Zappy.
Better with them,
I know he threw for 175 yards. It's like
they played hard.
He was 21 of 25 for 150. 65 yards
was the
with no
Detroit game.
touchdowns, no interceptions, and like that's what I'm expecting if he plays
Like
well.
it was a Kyle Duggar scoop and score and a bunch of field goals
like
and
a blocked punt
and like a touchdown.
It's gonna be
at
like-
the end to make it 29-0.
Yeah.
But it was all field goals.
Like the Chargers are all sitting on the bench looking like LaDainian Tomlinson circa
Also-
2007.
Now the
just
Cleveland game, he
freezing
played
and-
well in the Cleveland game.
Yeah, I mean, he's
last year.
made some
Zappy.
plays. I just think that would be the exciting thing. Would be if he came out and all of a sudden he's making some throws and like it's really they win because of him. Like
That's
not
why
in
I
spite
said make
of him.
Zappy happy.
Like,
that's why Pat gave
That's why he's got the
Also,
cake.
speaking of field goals, if Chad Ryland misses any field goals today, I will be very concerned for him.
Yeah.
You're not concerned for him already?
I mean, I am concerned for him already because there's kickers, in here this week working out. But
Only about 20 of them.
Yeah.
and they got one on the practice squad
Yeah.
too. So
a lot of kickers and punters and special teamers.
Especially
Big
if this
crew.
is like a low-scoring game and it does come down to that.
there's
like
no
many are
no, they
predicting.
can't. Right? He's on
What's
the
wrong?
practice squad. No, I had a brain fart right there. They can't
Bring up
promote
a
Matthew
kicker?
Wright. He's
Yeah.
the practice.
Well, they
squad.
would have had to do it yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
In a pregame show that is chock full of highlights already, from Paul's key to Fernando to me sinking in my chair, we are about to witness another highlight. Floyd in Michigan.
There we go.
Floyd in Michigan. What do you have for us this week, sir?
Wonderful.
Good morning, everybody.
Energy. Love it.
We have 5 questions. The first 4 are yes or no only. The last one isn't.
All right.
Question number 1. Do you prefer Gerard Mayo over trading for Mike Vrabel?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I do.
Yes. Yes.
Question number 2. If QB Caleb Williams makes it known that he doesn't want to come to New England, but is still on the board when the Patriots draft, should the Patriots draft him?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Question number 3. Should the Detroit Lions extend QB Jared Goff this upcoming offseason?
Saw some scuttlebutt about this morning. Is he holding them back?
What's
That's
his
a good one.
What's his status?
Jared Goff?
Yeah.
He's
he gonna
going
be a
into the
free
final
agent?
year.
So next year is the last year?
I think so. I will double check.
I feel like yes.
I'd write it out then.
I
No.
feel
I would write it out.
I feel like yes, only because, and I'm a handed hooker girly because he went to Virginia Tech before he went to Tennessee. But
Before he got good?
Yes, but because he's just coming off ACL surgery, and he hasn't played it all this season. Don't know if he's going to be ready. Not saying he's going to be like a Trey Lance situation or anything like that, but I think that it would be good for him to have the ability to stay being a backup for now.
He
until
is
he's ready to go.
He is set to make $21.5 million in 2024.
Okay.
Yeah,
So he's under contract next year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then no. Then I'm good.
Yeah, I'm going to say no also.
Yeah.
They should not.
If it was ending this year, then yes.
Question number 4. C.D. Lamb says he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. Do you agree with C.D.?
No.
No.
No. But he's good.
He's
Yeah.
real good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him the best.
Final question.
No,
This one is not
wicked
yes
awesome.
or no.
Yeah.
Okay.
In a recent mock draft, the Patriots selected Caleb Williams and Washington wide receiver Jalen Pope in the first and second round. After these two, what are the 2 next positions that you believe the Patriots should address in next year's recent draft? Thank you for the call.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Floyd. Appreciate
Tackle.
it. Yeah, I was going to say O-line.
Tackle. Yep.
Yeah.
I would say tackle and edge rusher.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, I would want more wide receivers too, but he's looking for a
Right.
different position.
We're like on the premium positions, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think you've seen it this year without Judon. They need a secondary, 3-down pass rush kind of a guy, and I don't think they really have one on this roster. It's Uche remains that kind of specialist, and
Yeah.
I just think that's what he is.
I would say if opportunity presented itself, like a replacement for Devon Godchaw would be great.
I think you need to start thinking about that long term. Big interior guys.
I've kind of come around on the idea, as unsexy as it is, that you build on the lines and start with the O-line, and you could tell me if they ended up with a quarterback, if Zappy doesn't impress them in the final weeks here, and they do draft a quarterback, instead of going receiver on that second pick, just build with tackles. Get yourself an edge rusher. Do it that way, which is kind of like the Eagles formula. Build with your line, and then you figure. I mean, even if you ended up without a quarterback, it's not fun. It's not exciting, but you have to get the two lines solidified, and then you can start building out from there.
Yeah, I think
I don't love it. I'm not the one to sit here and come up with names for you. I'm not watching interior linemen in college football, and I have all the ideas out there. But I just you
I
look
just
at
think
what
you can
it looks
rebuild
like-
your lines in other rounds. You don't have to do that in the top 10.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I
that's fine.
I
That's
would
fine.
agree with your notion. There's a lot of things to fix.
Yeah, and that's why
if you want to start with the lines.
Okay,
I get it.
I think so many of the questions you're going to get, like going into the offseason, is like, how do we turn this around in 1 year? And I don't think it's a 1 year kind of turnaround. You need to start stacking picks, and no matter what they take in the first and second round, and reminder that second round is really high second round pick, so they can't miss. It doesn't really overly concern me what they just can't miss. They need, quarterback, receiver, tackle, both tackles, edge rusher. I mean, these are the premium positions. The only one you could maybe cross off right now is cornerback, because you have Gonzalez coming back, and even then,
I think
you got
need
some
another
questions
one.
in the
Absolutely.
slot, and how long is Jonathan Jones going to be around? So there's a lot.
But
of
I
work
agree
to be
with
done.
Mike. It's about making a good pick. Like I get in an argument with Mike and Tony about this, because Mike thinks the secret sauce to always sucking is to be picking in the top 5. No. Pick a good player and you'll get out of there.
Mhm.
You
And
won't
stop-
always be in the top 5 if you get it right.
And stop trading down. And also stop picking people from schools that I have to Google your school. If I've never heard of your school before, no.
Lenore Ryan. Never heard of
Except for him.
Mining and technology.
But I mean, but even like the conversation we'll probably have is like, what kind of trade down could you swallow? Like, could you swallow going from 4 to 7, or when you pick up another pick in that range? Like, I you get to the point where you're at 4 or 5, and the quarterbacks that you love are gone, and you're kind of in this middling area. There's one argument that says you need a guy. It doesn't matter. You want to take a tackle here, you could use it, but
you need
it's
some
also saying
bodies.
if you could get 3 top 100 picks.
You got 7 picks, and you could have had more, but you didn't do anything before the trade deadline, and you didn't, add anything to your draft arsenal. So yeah, the idea, if a quarterback that you want is not available, if you're at 4 and going back to 7 because the guy that you really need most, is going to be available then, and you can pick up another pick or two, and what?
Yeah.
Lay that one out for me. What would you get for going from 4 to 7?
I mean, probably a second. I don't know, second rounder, like an extra second rounder. But
I
I mean,
would probably do that.
I mean, nothing crazy, but it's just, I think there's plenty of debate
Yeah,
to
I
be
know.
had about
I-
all this. There's debate to go up. There's
I
debate to
hate
go up.
Draft talk.
I know.
Hate it.
Sorry.
Also-
We've been forced into it in the earlier than ever.
And there's a debate to have new people picking those, like not just head coach, but
Oh,
like I would say
yeah.
the scouts too.
Tamara,
it's like
all of this-
everything needs to go.
All of this is predicated on new people picking the
Yes.
players.
Mhm.
It's certainly at the top. That is my baseline to start that discussion, which I don't want to have in the first place. So instead, we'll talk to Brandon in Atlanta. Hello, Brandon. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Brandon.
Hi, Tamara.
Hi.
Oh, God.
So y'all kind of just answered my question a little bit in the last, I guess, segment, or the last question. Do y'all, I guess I'll just ask anyway, hypothetically, considering all signs point to us being top 5 pick and more than likely having a new GM, do y'all see a world, I guess, to focus directly on this question? Sorry, Hardy, I don't mean to bring up the draft, but
That's
we're
okay.
In that world now.
Yeah.
Do you see a world where we trade down, not only, maybe not even trade down, but package like some picks to get a vet, or maybe trade down to get more draft capital for this draft and next year's draft?
Yeah,
Like,
I think we we kind of just like laid that out as a plausible scenario. Deuce did. You're gonna have to. You don't have a lot, like stored up right now, and an opportunity to do it came and went at this last trade deadline. So I don't think that's a ridiculous notion. The only thing I hate more than draft talk is when the draft actually happens and trading back. And I have to admit to being open to both of those right now, because that's where we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a balance, and you look at this team. What do they need? I think they need positions, but they need talent. They need game changers. So I don't care, if you insert the best left tackle in the game onto this team, like, it's going to make a difference. So I think they've got a lot of spots, and the core philosophy is don't miss on these picks. I get why people are gun-shy about trading down, though, because usually you were in the high 20s, the mid-20s. That's where you were starting out, and that's kind of that's really the edge of the first round. There's usually 20 to 25 real first-round guys. It's not 32 first-rounders. So, you were there, and then you're trading down into this. So you're getting out of even the cusp of those first-round type talent. They need first-round talent on this team.
I feel like before you can do any of that, you have to figure out who you're going to retain. And I feel like there are, guys, especially in the offensive line, that I would want to keep just because of the dividends that they've made for this offense as of late. And so I feel like you should start there and hopefully not lose every single person that's up for renewal on their contract this season.
Right.
And then see, okay, what holes are left.
I'm on Onwenu. Coming into the season, I would have probably had one order just talking about the top three, Duggar, Uche, Onwenu. I'm on Onwenu first right now. I think his versatility, if you can pay him in a way that he is a very highly paid right guard with, incentives to play tackle, you sign him and you say, look, we've got a lot of issues on our offensive line, but we know that we have at least one piece on that right side that it's going to be locked down, whether he's playing right guard, whether he's playing right tackle. You've also got City So, who's been playing pretty well. But that just takes some of the questions out. Now you need a left tackle, but it's not like you're looking at it right now with Onwenu at right guard, and you need both tackle spots. I think that's a little bit overwhelming.
Brandon, thanks for the call, buddy.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Let's go right over to. Oh, by the way, did Paul leave? Paul left.
He did. He just threw his arms in disgust and walked out. Right. Oh, no, he's doing his hit.
No, he's doing his chin wag with his sports up. That's fine. Eldred, North Carolina. What's going on, Eldred?
Hey, fellas. Hey, Tamara. How y'all doing?
Good.
Eldred.
Yeah, but I think somebody said if you got two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks, especially with Matt Jones and Bailey Zappy. Neither one of those. But to me, if we're sitting at 2 or 3, I'm going to do it this way. Y'all probably laugh at me. I'm giving Marvin Harrison, and like the other one said on round 2, either Jalen Daniels or Michael Pittman, which I want Michael Pittman anyway. I'll get those two first. Because if you get a tackle, that's not going to help you off. It'll help you blocking, but if you ain't got nobody throwing, nobody catching, what good is the tackle? You know what I mean? I think
I agree with that, and I think there's a case to be made for it for other teams that have built that way and had some success with it.
It's just.
But see, they had somebody on the outside and somebody throwing. We don't have that.
Well, but you can get that. But you can get that afterward. I know it runs counter to what everybody wants and to what the obvious thing is. It's like, oh, okay, the team is in disarray. What do we need? We need a quarterback. You do, but you don't want to get a quarterback in here and not be able to evaluate him because your line is so bad and you don't have enough around him, or you don't have a defense that can get off the field and put your offense in bad positions continually. So there is a case to be made for starting with the lines and then kind of working your way out from there. Eldred, it sucks. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk about it, but that's where we are.
Yeah, I know, but in other words, another way, if you do it that way, say you miss out on the quarterback, and then you miss out on the top wide receiver, you back at square one again. So that means we got to keep either Zappy, or keep Matt Jones, and then go from that. No, I know second round you can get you maybe get Daniels or Penix.
I think they're first round picks, Eldred. Though I think Penix and Daniels are going to be in the first 10 picks. I don't think they're going in the second round.
And Eldred,
but see, I don't think 10 teams need 10 quarterbacks. I think about 3 or 4 do, but I don't think 10 do.
Chicago going to end up taking a quarterback again?
Probably.
No. My pick is Chicago going to take Marvin Harrison to help out Justin Fields to see if he goes from there. That's what I'm thinking. Because if they got first pick, that's what I would do.
All right. Thanks, Eldred.
You really ain't got nobody.
All right. Appreciate it. I'm going to start calling him Zaley Bappy, by the way.
You laid it out so well, Hardy. I mean, it's something that, everybody wants a quarterback or a flashy receiver, and everybody, we're all, but, you just have to, respect that there are plenty of football people that are not going to go that. They're going to say, you need a tackle. You need to rebuild the line. We've spent so much time this year talking about the quarterback getting killed, and if you have this giant left tackle who's going to secure the blind side for the next 10 years, it's something that you have to consider.
Inactives are here, and the only surprising person on here is Dietrich Wise Jr., who
he's sick.
Is sick, what you heard this morning.
So
but everyone else is pretty normal.
Yeah. Alex Austin, JaMychal Hasty, Vidarian Lowe, Dietrich, Demario Douglas, and Booty were both already ruled out. So Mac Jones is active. There is no third quarterback. We already know that Malik Cunningham is going to play. So, I mean, I kind of am intrigued right now, though, without Dietrich Wise, because I think Keon White's going to get to play a lot more today, and I really think that's his best spot. I think that right defensive end, hand-down kind of spot, they've been playing him all over the place, up and down along the line of scrimmage, standing up, hand down, left to right, everything. I think today might really be a chance for Keon White to get in there, play a ton of snaps. I think he only played like 30 or so last week. I mean, he's not playing a ton. He is getting a lot of experience, but today might be an interesting day for Keon White.
I will say, I know that Mac is not on that inactives list, but I did think it was pretty interesting that like everyone's reporting that he's not out there warming up at all right now.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's not listed as the emergency.
No.
Nobody is.
Okay.
So
Nobody is.
He's going to be active.
It sounds like he's active, but just not warming up at all.
Staying warm.
I think you could have gotten away with the emergency designation for Mac today, quite frankly.
Maybe it's more of like a self-esteem thing, like not wanting to put him on there as inactive.
I just think you have so many questions of quarterback right now. It's like, I mean, I get why, like, just don't even play him. Like, don't even dress him. Give him a week off. Let him. I get all that. But at the same time, you've just gotten such sporadic performance from everybody. We saw Malik Cunningham get out there, a month ago, and he looked like deer in headlights. So
I wish I could remember who. It may have been Ted Johnson who said something, and I apologize, Ted, if this wasn't you. But a decent football mind broke down the Mac Jones thing by saying, in this position, like, there's no sense in wringing your hands over, will you be the backup? Is he going to be third? Is he going to be urgent? The best thing for him is just get away from the team. Like, you've been pulled 4 games, and now you lost the starting job. There's no reason for him to be around.
Yeah.
Like, the reasonable thing and maybe the best thing for him, you're not a part of this right now. You really want to get your head clear, and if he's got, something glitchy going on up there that's causing him to, to have the yips or whatever you want to call it and throw those picks, get away from it altogether.
Yeah.
I think he could benefit from that. I mean, as soon as I saw the Jets do that to Zach Wilson, and obviously they don't know how to manage a quarterback at all.
It's not exactly a recipe.
That's a good decision because he's not like, looking over the new starter's shoulder. He's not like visibly in the way or a distraction, but he's the emergency quarterback. Yeah. And I feel like that space could be good for Mac Jones right now, who really just needs to take a breather and not have any more stress or chaos happening for him right now.
Yeah, it might have seemed a little bit this week like a weight had been lifted off of Mac a tiny bit, just in kind of how he was carrying himself. But, I mean, just one kind of jarring thing for me that I think summed up the last couple of weeks. We were in the locker room on Thursday, which was Zappy was gonna talk. And everybody, all the media goes right to Zappy's locker, and everyone's set up. I mean, it's just, and it was a really big contingent there that day, too. And everybody's waiting for Zappy, and then you just kind of see Mac come in, and Mac goes to his locker, and nobody's really, like, the circus has left town. Nobody's really talking to him. It was just, kind of jarring just to see that kind of picture of everyone waiting for Zappy and Mac to kind of come in, do his little thing, and nobody, hey, man, just
that's why get away from it, man.
Yeah.
You don't need to be around that.
Right.
Don't wish that on anybody. Tim in Marlboro, what's going on, Tim?
Hey, on a lighter note, I think somebody maybe like a month ago brought up sending Evan out for like tailgating, and I thought that would be a great idea for next season. I think maybe Alex brought it up.
Would love it today in the rain. Send Evan out to the rain.
Sure, you'd enjoy it out there today. It's pleasant.
Meanwhile, Evan's like up in the press box right now, like typing his little thing, and like, Evan, why don't you go walk around the tailgates?
Yeah, we need you to go to your tailgate hit. 40 degrees and constant drizzle. There's 18 people out there. Go hang with them.
Go talk to some drunk people and see if they're excited.
Yeah, go join the party out there.
Yeah, I guess it'd have to be warm weather, and the team's got to be better.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
But the other thing I was thinking too is, maybe not drafting a wide receiver, but getting one in free agency. I think Michael Pittman is a free agent.
Yeah, he's probably the best.
And that guy's I love that guy. I'll take it off the air, but yeah, I mean, I think getting a tackle and a quarterback in the draft. I mean, yeah, a tackle and a quarterback, and then maybe getting a wide receiver in free agency, or maybe even trading a future pick for a wide receiver, like like Buffalo's done, and that Miami did, something like that.
Oh yeah,
I'll take it off the air.
Time to get creative for sure.
I would love to get creative and get like T. Higgins. Like that would be incredible. Just to have a guy who's like already a great route runner. He has the speed. He's not new to the NFL. Like he just needs to learn the system. Like that would be great for the Patriots.
And after Marvin Harrison Jr., I think the receiver thing really scares me. And I could warm up to Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, he's awesome, but I just think there's so many good receivers in the second, third round. Like you get those guys, and like I don't totally disagree with the overall philosophy of trying to have a somewhat balanced offense. And it's great to have what Herbert and Keenan Allen have out there, where it's like, guess what? He's going to get targeted 17 times today. But I also just see the appeal in having a balanced attack where we have guys who are all productive, and maybe there isn't that number A1 stud. Like it works, but it also can backfire on you when teams just are going to completely focus on him. And we're looking at a Chargers team that has two elements that I think Patriot fans are dying for: a young quarterback with all the skills that you need, the size, the arm, all that, and a receiver who is a veteran receiver, like you kind of mentioned, T. Higgins. Not that those are necessarily totally the same player, but it's at least the same kind of philosophy of getting that guy to be really productive on the outside. So there's plenty of different ways to build a team. I think the receiver thing, overextending to get a receiver and then having questions at quarterback and offensive line, that stuff, I don't know if that's a formula for long-term success.
I definitely think that position scares me the most, just because they have not been able to develop one as of late. Like,
who's going to be developing, who's going to be picking them? That's what you kind of wrap your head around. On one hand, you're like, God, it scares me, but at the same time, that there's at the very least, like even if Bill Belichick is back, this offense has been so bad 2 years in a row that there has to be some kind of substantial changes to this offense. Whether it's starting quarterback, whether it's really trying to put the tackle question to bed. I mean, that's something that they've been chasing really since Nate Solder and Sebastian Vollmer left. That's it's just been uncertainty. There's been guys who were injured. Isaiah Wynn, just doesn't have the size. Like, there has to be a part of you that's appealing to saying, God, what if we had a Trent Williams on our team? Just a giant, tone-setting, big tackle who's always out there, who's big and tough. And when your quarterback gets a little extra business at the end of the play, this monstrous dude is going to come in and, lay the law down. I think that there's some appeal in that to me.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I feel like this point in the season, what are we, 13 weeks in? I don't even know where we are right now.
It's week 13.
Why are people still getting confused and like having communication issues and not running routes properly? Like, we're not week one.
No, and
that's weird.
And would any of us have thought that this offense would be as dysfunctional as last year's was? I mean, it seemed like at a baseline that Bill O'Brien was going to be able to get this offense back to at least the middle of the road. I thought that was kind of I didn't expect top 10 or anything like that, but that a well-coordinated offense with Mac, and we knew Mac from Alabama, and he should be able to push the right buttons to get consistent performances out of him. But there's no other way to slice it. It's been disappointing.
Let's grab Nick in Nebraska before we take a quick break here on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. Nick, what do you got for us?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Sorry, I just tuned in, so I don't know if you talked about it or not, but everyone's talking about the QB situation, who we should draft, but what should we do for head coach? Is Bill still going to be here, or who should take his spot? At the least, I'd say he needs to be removed from his GM roles because we can't draft.
Well, this is the two-pronged thing. Number one, a lot of people have theorized, well, what if he just take the GM duty as away from him, allow him the head coach?
Yeah, fine with that.
Yeah, he's not going to do that. So it's going to be a question of replacing the GM if this is what you want. And a lot of people have already predetermined this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a new GM. You're going to have a new head coach. You're going to have a new two assistant coaches automatically. I can't imagine either of the Belichicks staying with Bill or staying here once Bill is no longer the head coach. And you've got a lot of, arguably the two most important positions to fill on this team from a coaching perspective or a front office perspective, in GM and head coach. Yeah, that's we've been talking about it since week 6, Nick. I mean, seriously, it's not a new theory, but I tell you what is also not new is the idea that Bill would somehow stay and be the head coach without being the GM anymore, and I just don't think that's a legitimate possibility.
I don't see it. No, I think that the big question is how much are you going to extract this regime from this organization? Are you going to have carryover? I mean, I think we were talking about it this week. Is it the simple answer of Gerard Mayo's the head coach, and Steve Belichick's the defensive coordinator, and Billy O stays on, and Matt Groh becomes the GM, and you just take the Bill Belichick out of this. Does that clear the problem, or do you need to clean house and completely reestablish all the team's philosophies?
On its surface, think about that for a second. So we're going to take the very best thing out of all of that. The most talented thing is Bill Belichick's coaching mind. We're going to remove that and expect to be better. I don't know how that works. And the whole GM thing, and I agree with you guys. I don't think that would fly. I don't think Bill would necessarily be on board with that. But even if, let's just say hypothetically, he would, isn't that dysfunctional? You have a guy who's always been able to have fun. Now I'm just going to say, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm struggling. I'll let you. He still wants the kinds of players that he wants to coach. And he's going to work his way to find those players. It's whether he's picking the players or not. It's kind of irrelevant at this stage.
And how do you expect
20+ years in?
How do you expect another GM too to come in and pick players that are going to play for Bill Belichick? It's at least Bill. If
it's
he's
a dysfunctional setup.
Yeah, if he's picking the players, at least he knows what he expects and what he wants out of them. Now, I do think that it's just the sheer volume. I never thought that it could get. That you could miss on enough draft picks and free agent picks that it would get ahead of him. He'd always be able to draft enough talent or acquire enough free agent talent.
He drafted really well from 2000 all the way till what?
2012.
That's a long stretch of being real. I called him a very good drafter once, and I still get mocked for it. But that's fine. That's a long stretch of really productive drafts. 2000 to 2012. And I think is that where it was Malcolm Brown, Dominique Easley, 13, 14?
Yep.
That's when it started.
Yeah. All right. Nick already hung up. Good. All right. Well, thank you for the call, Nick. We're going to step aside. Don't forget, on this Patriots pregame show, which is fueled by Dunkin, making it to Wednesday is a win in itself. And to celebrate, Dunkin' Rewards members get a free donut with drink purchase every Wednesday now through December. We're in December. Limit one classic donut per member per Wednesday. Terms and exclusions may apply. Participation may vary. Offer ends 12/27/2023.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on Unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on Unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays, providing enhanced collaboration and improved student outcomes in the classroom, and an easy way to foster communication and teamwork in any business environment. Available in multiple sizes, TouchView also offers a built-in VC, allowing for easy use through video conference systems. For more information, visit okers.com.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
This is the Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris ahead of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke.
TouchView Interactive from the Yokers Company offers New England's leading schools and businesses technologically advanced and easy-to-use interactive displays.
On Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
This holiday, trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium, Apple TV 4K, and 6 months of Apple One. All on us with unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. 6 months of Apple One, then $10 per month. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line on unlimited Ultimate plan required. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Apple TV 4K and Apple One offers require eligible phone purchase with activation on unlimited Ultimate. Additional terms and conditions apply. Visit Verizon.com for details.
Join the conversation by calling the Ace Ticket hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at webradio@patriots.com.
Start Zappy over Mac and let that be the rallying cry. And however it shakes out, it shakes out. But that's what they should have done today, and I don't think they're going to do it. So
It's like an Oscar clip right here. This is the Oscar clip.
We're just going to go ahead and give you the key. That was amazing.
I never learned how to read.
Like,
the passion.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Hardy.
And not only did I not get the key for that last week, it went to the worst key. And
as it did. Thanks.
I kind of think Paul's was the worst key this week too. I really do. I mean, it made sense, and the more he talked about it, I came around on it, and I don't hate it, but I didn't think it was great. Sorry, Paul.
No offense taken.
Did you think your
Did I think my take was great?
You didn't
No.
even want to say what your key was.
No, I had no problem with that.
Well, you just didn't want to speak.
No. All right.
What?
My reservation was because mine kind of. I just said mine. Mine was in stark contrast to what Tamara had said, which was kind of my reluctance to sort of like I didn't want to make it sound like I was like, well, that's dumb. And mine's gonna be totally different. Like. She was like, run the ball, and I'm like, yeah, you don't run the ball. Like, throw it down the field and try to make some chunk plays.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I was a little reluctant to say it.
I'm going to start doing that. Whenever Paul submits his key, I'm just going to submit the opposite of that. Oh, wait, I did that for about 6 weeks straight last year, I believe. That was my thing. Remember
Any
that?
James White action?
Do you remember that? When you would say, run the ball, I would say,
Throw
don't
the
run
ball.
the ball.
You did have a run of those.
I did.
Yeah.
And then I had to come up.
Funny guy.
Contrarian.
Well, then I would have to come up with a reason. Like solid reasoning to go against that.
That's not hard for you.
No.
That's not hard at all.
Can argue any point. Anything. Watch this. Jason Canada, whatever you say, I will argue against it even if I completely agree with you. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. I just wanted not to be shy and just instead of emailing, just ask this question. I'm on team draft MHJ, but I just really wanted to know, how the dad will react because I really am. The reason why I really like him is because we can't seem to develop a wide receiver. So I thought the dad would help coach, but I don't know if the dad hates us because we're the Pats and he's a Colt. I don't really know him that well.
You want to draft him because his dad can help coach him up?
Yeah, kinda.
I don't even know.
I
know. I automatically disagree with that point. I think that's a terrible idea. I think anybody who's too tied to it's one of the reasons that I only lukewarm on Caleb Williams. I think he's got some real issues there when it comes to his let's just say his foundational parental support right now.
Yeah.
That I question his ability to function as an adult human boy in the NFL and whether or not he's going to be emotionally equipped for that.
A little less on that as I'm worried about the father for Caleb Williams a little bit.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen anything with Marvin Harrison with his
quiet,
kid.
though,
I haven't
really.
I haven't seen him in the spotlight at all. Like, am I missing that?
No, and we did the
because
same
I don't
thing
watch.
last
I don't
year.
watch all the stuff with
No.
the college. I mean, I watch some games here and there, but I don't watch the pregame and.
I haven't seen anything with him. It was the same thing with Joey Porter Jr. last year, where
I didn't see
he was
much with
asked
his
about
dad
it,
either.
and he just said, "Look, my dad's going to be happy for me to get my chance." And if that was how it worked out, I don't think Marvin Harrison would
Yeah, and the other part it was Jace, right? If Jace is still listening. Like I wouldn't. I'm not telling you this is 100% because who knows? It could change. But my feeling wouldn't be to be worried as much about the developing of a wide receiver because that's been a problem. Because I don't think the guys that have been developing wide receivers are going to be around.
Yep.
So there are going to be some new guys coming in. Again, not 100%. Not 100%. Who knows? But I feel like you probably have some different offensive coaches next year, and they'll be tasked with trying to develop Marvin Harrison if that's where you go. And I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, and it goes back to the question of how much is retained. Is the system retained? Is this still a system that is going to ask a lot of wide receivers after the snap to adjust to the coverages and those kind of things? I think those are all part of the issues that made things difficult here.
Thanks, Jace. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you, Jace.
Call anytime. We love the emails, though, too. Like this one from Simon in Brooklyn said, "Hey, guys, I completely agree we are due for the overhaul you guys have been discussing for the last few weeks, including coaching staff, GM, and overall roster moves. That said, if Williams and May are off the table for us in the draft, would there be any part of you that would be interested in running it back with Belichick for one last season if Brady came out of retirement to do one more year?" It's not anything I think would be a real solution or if Tom has anything left, but fun enough to see if we could finagle Bill and Tom to retire both as Patriots. Ready to be laughed off the show, Simon in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that's...
Well, Simon, I'm not going to laugh you off the show, but I'll look, let's just put it very, very bluntly. Tom Brady, if he goes ahead with his current plan, is going to make more money than he would make even as a one-year quarterback with the Patriots, working a couple days a week, calling a game in the Fox booth. He's going to make $37.5 million next year doing that. And will continue to make that every year if he wants to, and if he's any good at it, for 9 more years. Is he going to pass that by to come in and quite possibly implode and leave a lasting legacy of suck?
I would just say and this is, I don't know if this is controversial. I have no interest in that.
No,
forget it. All you guys all have all the rational reasons why it would never happen.
Yes, yeah, well, yeah.
But I have no interest in 2024 Bill Belichick coach, Tom Brady quarterback. I want the organization to move forward.
Right.
I don't want one last gasp effort to try to see if we can recapture the past glory and have a great season.
Yeah.
Unless you were going to tell me.
Get Gronk too.
No, definitively, but they're going to do that and they're going to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, I would want to win the Super Bowl. It doesn't work that way. You don't have that guarantee. I don't think they would win the Super Bowl with that, and I'm not interested. To me, that's just putting off the rebuild for another year.
I mean, it's it's difficult because they're two of the best to ever do it. And I'm bringing it down a little bit.
They're goats. I mean, there's no arguing there.
They're goats, but you wouldn't do that with any other team in any other circumstance. You know what? The Bruins really needed a defenseman this year. Let's bring back
Bobby
Claude
Orr.
Julien, and I was going to say Zdeno Chara.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Let's bring back Chara.
Yours
and
probably
Claude
would have
Julien.
been more realistic.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
No.
Could
Not doing that.
Not Ray Bork. We could do Ray Bork. No.
No, but I like Hardy's. I mean, that's like the old coach
No,
and the
it's-
old number one stud defenseman.
Tim Thomas,
who aren't that old.
Let's get Tim Thomas and
You
Claude
know?
Julien in there, and that'll solve everything. No.
Just nostalgia for the good old days. No,
No.
I love nostalgia.
I know we all love nostalgia, but
that's all I got.
Those days are gone.
Nick Baby Love, what's going on, Nick?
All right, let me talk, Hardy. So to start with, as I text Fred and I talk to the front office, my number one priority is to make sure they retain you and even Tamara and, of course, Mr. Holy Cross, D-Train, and obviously Paul is my, fratello, which means brother in Italian for life.
I knew that one.
Moving on from that, that's really important. Obviously, you know how I feel about Belichick, except for one thing I disagree with him on. I think it's really, really critical, the moves he makes, and you guys are making all kinds of comments. I don't know if it's a quarterback. I don't know what it is, but does everybody know, and let me finish, Hardy. Does everybody know what omerta means in Italian?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, silence.
Okay, so let's pretend this is somebody else because I want to go off now. Okay? Zappy and anybody else, I'm going to be polite. They stink. This guy that's quarterbacking from Alabama, he's intolerable. I've suffered all year. He's history.
Oh, Lordy.
Bring somebody else in. However you got to maneuver, trade down, do whatever. It's going to be an off season that's incredible. And Paul said it best. I heard earlier that who the hell are you going to bring in that's going to replace a Belichick? Give him a chance, and let's move forward. And we just had 20 great years. Why complain? Life is short. I love you guys very much, and you're doing an incredible job on this show.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick.
I have a fundamental difference of opinion with Nick when it comes to Bill Belichick, and that's fine. He wants to bring him back. I would say, Nick, your reasoning has, you mentioned it last week, the week before, again this week, all the championships, last 20 years. How about the last 4? How's it trending? Are things getting better? What evidence do you have that Bill, as GM and coach, can turn things around, which is what this team needs? I mean, they're 2-9. They need to be turned in the other direction and have something completely different happen both on and off the field. What evidence is there that Bill Belichick is the best person for that job? I'm not saying you're going to find the next Bill Belichick. You're going to find another coach as good as him, much less better. But if something needs to be done completely differently, why on earth would you stick with the same guy? I can't come up with a reason.
I'm with you. I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
I'm ready to move on.
John in Miami. Hello, John. Thanks for joining us on the Patriots Pregame Show, fueled by Dunkin. What's going on?
Howdy, everyone. I'll just say John Baby Love doesn't have the same ring as Nick Baby Love.
No. There's only one Baby Love, and it's not you, John. You can be
Nick Baby Love. Well, I don't need a nickname.
right. You can be Johnny South Beach.
There we go. I actually love that. That's great.
Okay.
He's going to get a tattoo.
So from just kind of thinking a little bit about all this talk of, Bill Belichick's career and retirement and all that, this is a question for Hardy and for Paul. Does this kind of make you think about your own career mortality at all? And if you were traded to another team and kind of forced to cover another team, what kind of team would you like to cover? And I'll take the call here.
What about traded to another show?
I'm not sure I like the tone of Johnny South Beach's inquiry.
I mean, Paul's had a great run. He won a bunch of Super Bowls. I'm ready to move on.
Listen, I had nothing to do with being 2-9. I resent that.
What did I do?
Who would I like to cover instead? Kansas City. Probably be fun watching Mahomes.
I think
if you could choose your job that you do now, right? And you wouldn't. Yeah, you're a patron.
No, it would not. Correct. It would not be what I would choose.
Well, and you wouldn't do it for any other.
Your job.
Patriot for life, Paul Perillo. You would not do this for another team. But let's say you were forced into it, right? Mm-hmm. You're being traded to be the .com guy for Team X for 5 years.
Yeah.
What team do you go to?
So
this is a good question for you.
It's
now,
a great,
Deuce, you are brought back into the conversation.
It's a great question. Now, before the move, it would have been a no-brainer for me. I would have said the Chargers.
Yeah.
Because I would love to go to San Diego for 5 years. I have no interest in L.A. for 5 years. No offense, Mike.
No,
I know you're in LA.
I left.
You're an L.A. boy.
I left. Florida.
But
come on.
Dolphins?
Not great.
Florida.
Either. Probably I would say Miami.
Florida.
Florida.
Donnie.
Florida.
Hey, go to Florida.
Hey, if you want.
Sonny Black wants you in Florida.
If you want to
You're
contact
Sonny Black's
me,
guy now.
I'll be in Florida.
I like the appeal of the Chargers a little bit too, but there's a certain element of like, on one hand, I think the Chargers are kind of loosey-goosey, and I like that about them.
Great.
But I also think like not a lot of people care about the Chargers. So like there's something about like here
That's a drawback.
where no matter what, they're good, they're bad, people are invested, they love the team, they're passionate. It's like I wonder if like we're doing Chargers Unfiltered. Does anyone care? Is anyone calling in being like, how can they be this bad with Justin Herbert?
I'll
Like,
throw
you know
one
what I mean?
Diehards.
I'll throw one at you two.
Throw it at me.
How about Houston? 5 years.
I would not want to live in Houston.
Nah.
I spent some time there. It is big. That's why I wouldn't want to live there.
Big place.
Kind of like I feel similar about L.A. Like it's just kind of sprawling and everything takes forever to get to.
It'd be tough to cover the team if you didn't, like in L.A., if you didn't live South Bay around, and even I think the Rams practice facilities up in like Thousand Oaks, like that's like up in the valley. So it's like you're driving
guys
all
are
over
really
creation.
thinking about this.
Yeah, well,
like
Hardy, I take this job
logistically.
seriously, and you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. Okay.
All right.
Now I'm dropping my pen.
When you're allowed to answer that, the first part you weren't.
Hey, I appreciate you letting me into that conversation though, because
getting uncomfortable.
Caller didn't want me on it, but that's fine.
You're a sports writer. You make a lot of money.
Bart from Poland via Cordova, Spain.
Cordova.
Chrysler Cordova.
It's a Cordova.
Fine Corinthian leather.
Correct.
Gotta say,
I don't speak Spanish.
I'm one of the biggest tank guys out there, and I've been here since week 4. Absolutely hated the Buffalo win. I love Bart already. However, I'll be completely fine with the number 3 pick, as I think that by April, the consensus top 3 will not be Caleb Drake and Harrison, but Caleb Drake and Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
We have a 2-game lead over the number 4 pick, and even right now, when it seems like a reach, by April, I think it won't. I'll be completely fine with any of those 3 quarterbacks in the top 3.
Okay, so here's my problem with that line of thought.
All right.
I agree with him. I think that there's a chance that Daniels continues to rise up the charts. That doesn't mean he should.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
This happens all the time. Nobody was talking about Zach Wilson being the number 2 overall pick while they were actually playing games. That happened once the BYU season ended into that pre-draft process, and then he shot up the charts.
Yeah.
That would be and I'm not telling you, Jay, I really like Jaden Daniels a lot, and I would be happy if they took him, but that doesn't mean I think he's the 3rd overall pick. And that you could be fine. Like you say, well, what difference does it make where you draft him as long as he's good? I agree. As long as he's good.
It's just kind of hard feeling like you got the 3rd best quarterback, even if he's not. But like, I think in like the case of the Chargers or the Bills, when you're taking that guy who isn't one of the top 1 or 2, you're more working with development. When you're saying like Josh Allen or Herbert, like they have all the tools. They're not quite there yet. Yes, we're getting the 3rd quarterback in this draft, but we think that with some time he will be that guy. Like with a guy like Jaden Daniels, which, admittedly I haven't really jumped in 100% on him, but, it's still, is he an ascending player that, potentially could be the best? Like if we're going to take a quarterback at like 3, 4, 5 in the draft, I want to be able to talk myself into this guy might end up being special, even though he is the 3rd pick in the draft.
He could be. And he could be that. But I'm just saying I would be worried about the guy who moves up
based on
30 spots.
Yeah.
Once the season's over.
Yes.
Like, I worry about those guys.
How about Anthony in Virginia? Anthony has a question on Bailey Zappy. What is it, Anthony?
I think it's Zappy Bappy, actually.
Hello. So let's pretend that Zappy is starting, which I've heard many rumors they probably
Not
is.
to pretend. Let's just do
we
it.
think that this is his only chance to prove himself?
No.
No,
because I don't think anybody's going to take the job from him.
I think you'll get 3 weeks.
He's talking to Patriots.
I'm on the phone, Ma!
Don't you worry about who he's talking to.
All
We're having
right.
a conversation over
All right,
here.
Anthony. All right, he's got something going on there at the house.
The guy was making fun of me. Oh, who are you talking to? He's talking to us. It's an honor.
That's fine.
Whose honor? Your honor.
You know, I went to a swingers party the other night, and I met the mayor, and he said, "Have I met your wife?" I said, "Your honor."
Oh, God.
That's a good joke.
All right, over-unders.
Here they come.
It's time for this week's edition of Over-Unders.
You're over me? When were you under me?
Okay.
That one got me.
Well, this was not a great week for me. Maybe I made up for it in some other competition that we'll talk about later on in
Maybe.
the show.
We'll see.
Maybe. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happened. But what happened last week?
Mike, 3-3. Paul and Hardy, 1-5. Bringing
Yikes.
the season totals to Mike, 36-30. Paul, 34-32. Hardy, 30-36.
I'm not doing any contrarian anything today. I'm just going for what I think. Hey, we got warm-ups going on. Look at that.
They're wearing red.
Woo.
I don't know if you know, but they're wearing red today.
Rega, he's all red.
The red sleeves. Red sleeves again. There's Judon. There's Judon again. I can't believe he's out there. Oh, my God. Okay. So let's start this off. What do you got for us first, Matt?
Justin Herbert passing yards, 246.5. Herbert.
All right, I think my theme for today is a uneven day for Justin Herbert. I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I will take the over on that.
I, too, will go over on that. I don't think it's going to be all that uneven.
Justin Herbert interceptions at a half.
I will take the over on that as well. I think he throws a pick.
I don't think he does. I'm going under.
I'm with Paul. I think he throws a pick.
Devontae Parker receiving yards, 34.5.
Hi, kids. Devontae Parker. Under.
Yeah, he's a weird, kind of streaky guy where he could have 3 catches.
He's a
for 40
weird dude.
He's a weird guy. Some games he just catches balls, but today I don't think so. I'm going under.
I will take the over. Someone's got to catch the ball.
All right.
All the receivers are out.
Ezekiel Elliott rushing yards, 30.5.
Oh, yeah, I like that a lot. I'm taking the over.
I will take the under on that.
What?
Nursing a thigh injury. I don't know how many carries he gets. I think it'll be a Ramondre game.
I thought this was going to be our first consensus pick. I'm going over with Deuce.
Longest touchdown yards, 36.5.
That's wicked far.
Yeah, I'm going to go under, and I just think Patriots haven't really had many of those this year. And
Well, that's for either team, though, right?
yeah, you're right.
Correct. Yeah.
Much like the Miami game when I lost on that one when Tyreek Hill caught a 40-something yarder. But I'll take the under.
I'm going under on that, too.
Yeah, I'm with you guys under.
There
there's
you
a
go. You got your
consensus.
consensus
All
one
right.
there. Hottie.
And finally, the total score, 39.5.
Under.
You don't want to think about it?
No.
Yeah, I'm under 2.
Another consensus. I will take the under.
Okay, great.
Boom,
That
bang.
was fun.
That's
Enjoyed
fun.
that.
Bang, bang, boom.
Done.
Nothing. Why are you teasing?
We'll go back to the phones here, 855-PATS-500. By the way, Bridgestone makes a hell of a tire. Thank you. No, there's more. Official tire of the New England Patriots. Proud to partner with Sullivan Tire, New England's headquarters for quality Bridgestone tires. Visit sullivantire.com to find a location near you. Now we go back to the phones, 855-PATS-500. Tim in Brimfield. What's going on, Tim?
Hey, I have a question for you guys. First of all, I love your show. Whenever I don't make it down to the stadium, I listen to you guys an hour before the show every week.
Awesome. We're on for 2, by the way, which is at least
I only do
30
the
minutes
first
too
hour,
long.
the
but
last hour.
That's fine.
Also listen to it at the stadium.
Oh.
My question for you guys is, I keep going back and forth with this. I get it's time to turn the page on Belichick, but half of me says he does such a great job with the defense. If we can just get some semblance of an offense, we're going to be right there. I mean, nobody's running away with anything.
I want to.
all my friends are saying it's time for Belichick to go, but And I get that, but if they could just get some sort of offense going, we're right there.
So why is it that you think that they don't have much offense? Is he still there?
Yeah.
They don't have the players, and they don't have. I don't think it's the coordinator.
But if you're going to give Belichick credit for the defense and how they're playing, doesn't he get blamed for the offense and how it's playing?
Yes, I guess in the long run, you're right.
Yeah, and like to me, the bigger issue isn't necessarily like I think he remains and always has been a remarkable coach, but I don't think that his scheme offensively is conducive to what a lot of teams are doing right now, and I think that's why they're not as productive. I also think, and this is an argument for a different day, certainly not for today, I think the defense is fine. I don't think there's anything special about what they do on defense that can't be replicated by somebody else. I don't think they're this great defense that shuts teams down. I don't. The last 2 weeks against bad quarterbacks and third string quarterback last week, yeah, they held them to 10 points, but I don't think that they've played anything special defense. I haven't seen like what the Jets did to Buffalo, in other words, in the first game of the season. That kind of defense. I think they're fine defensively.
Here's my final point, and I go back to the stadium, and you're saying somebody else. I've seen the line of somebody else's team through here, and it might be a long time before you find that somebody else.
Yeah, it might be, Tim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your phone's breaking up, but
forever.
Okay, so you don't know who the next head coach is going to be.
You are not going to get a better head coach than Bill Belichick when you replace him.
Right.
I will fully submit that.
You're not going to get a better one. You don't know who it's going to be. This isn't working.
Just like
not working.
Just like you knew when you allowed Tom to leave, you were not going to replace him with a better quarterback. It doesn't mean that he should be the quarterback forever. Like they need to change, and they need to start working on getting better.
Yes.
I think a part of the defense, too, that's changed this year is I almost feel a little bit like we underplayed Devin McCourty's importance and just his overall trickle-down effect of what he was able to do and the flexibility he provided to them on the back end. I mean, and losing Judon and obviously Christian Gonzalez would help, but I think they're a little bit stuck in no man's land at the safety position right now, and it's why I'm considering, like, do you let Duggar go and you get a real free safety and you kind of go more traditional?
Let me ask you both something here.
Okay.
Because it was Paul's point last week, and Deuce, you're a defensive guy.
I don't like when my stuff is brought back.
They have limited their opponents in the last 2 weeks to 10 points.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
You didn't think the defense was all that outstanding.
Especially against Indy. I didn't think that.
And even last week.
Yeah, last week I thought there were, 5 for 109 for a guy who had 12 catches all year. I mean, Jalen Hyatt. I think that the reason why they were able to keep the points down, first, they just dropped the ball all by themselves and cost themselves at least a field goal in the first drive of the game. And after that, every time they made a play, the quarterback sort of held onto the ball too long and got sacked. Listen, they only allowed 10 points. And I don't want to get on the list of the reasons why they lost the last 2 games. Defense is probably in the hundreds in both games. They allowed 10 points in both games. By no means would I ever say they got to be better defensively to win that game. Never. I just don't think it was this dominant defense that people have made. And I shouldn't even say that. I haven't really heard a lot of people make it out to be like that.
The defense has not been criticized
because
it
shouldn't be criticized. It hasn't been criticized. Well, I just don't think it's been great the way, like, say, I brought up the Jets. The Jets had a game early in the year against a really good offense in Buffalo that they just found a way to win the game after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I don't see that from the Patriots against good teams.
Deuce?
Yeah. I don't think they have finishers right now, and I think that's why they're, I think look at what the 2019 or even the 2021 team would have done to those last 2 quarterbacks. Like, they probably would have had multiple takeaways, probably, taking points. I mean, it is a credit, I think, that they've still been solid, and, backup quarterback or not, 10 points is what it is. But
exactly, and that's why I don't want to be coming off like I'm saying, what is he, out of his mind? He's blaming the D. No. But they allowed 10 points.
Yeah, but I think other than Christian Barmore right now, they're struggling to have that one player who can win one-on-one, get to the quarterback, and finish him off. And, I mean, you saw it with DeVito. Go back to Sam Howell, just that inability to make a play on the quarterback. I think it's and you've seen the big plays, 6 plays, against Washington, 3 the last couple of weeks. They can't do that today.
Matt in Oregon says, guys, what have you seen in the last 5 years that tells you Bill is still a great coach? This is not and has not been a well-coached team since at least 2019. Also, you keep mentioning the respect we owe Bill, and while I tend to agree the complete lack of respect he shows literally everyone else, even as things been going so poorly, really makes me feel like he's using up his credit. Thanks and go Pats, Matt from Oregon.
I would, step in and defend Bill a little bit. Like, I don't know how you could consider 2021 not a good coaching job. When you have a rookie quarterback and you find a way to win 7 games in a row and win 10 overall, and I've believe me,
the way it ended.
I've made a lot of comments about the sort of the fortunate nature of some of those wins that year with the backup quarterbacks and whatnot. But when you're dealing with a rookie quarterback and you find a way to win 10 games and make the playoffs, I think he showed you that he could still be a pretty good coach.
I'll tell you why. And I'm not even arguing it, but the immediate answer is at the end of 2021, because the way the season ended with 2 games against Buffalo in which the defensive genius did not figure out a way to force one single punt in 2 games.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking about with their defense in general. But
that's kind of what I'm
even
talking about with Bill.
Even the Buffalo game this year, when Buffalo was struggling like crazy.
I'm talking about Bill, and if you want to give him credit for having a good year, I would say no. No, you made it to the playoff. You made it to the playoffs.
You're a tough grader. I can respect that.
You didn't belong there. Yeah, and that was made clearly evident. And
try not to break anything.
That's the second or third time you've done that today, and
try
it
not
has
to break
stop.
Anything. My goodness.
Has to stop.
But Hardy's strong counter.
No, and I would connect. I would connect the 2021 to the defense. I think like that year. I think that their defense with some vets in it and made some plays and scored defensive touchdowns and special teams touchdowns. I think that veteran crew that had been kind of coached up, I think really helped the process. But I 100% would agree when you talk about like what is a good, well-coached football team, a team that's buttoned down on all the details. There's just been a lot of mistakes and then mistakes that repeat themselves, and that is troubling.
There's something about what?
That was Mike, not me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm walking
a little bit of a different look there for the cameras.
It's a new tunnel.
Little tunnel
shot.
vision.
They light it up.
Has anyone been down into that club over there by that tunnel?
Been outside of it.
That ground level club?
It looks nice. We're not able to go in there.
Yeah.
Because we do this thing, but.
Yeah, I'm not going to go.
Jeremiah Farms? Sam Roberts?
I was actually walking around in that area for the first time ever on Friday. I was down in not the club that they come out for the, coming out of the tunnel there, but on the concourse side, under the lighthouse, that whole area, that club. Yeah, that's a pretty nice view.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's fun.
I hadn't gotten a chance to see that at all until Friday.
Adam in Longmeadow. What's Longmeadow, Mass? What's going on, Adam?
Hey, yeah. So first of all, thanks for doing this pregame show and really helping people like me understand the game better. I got a question for you guys, and it's basically, what are we doing with wide receivers on the Patriots, and why does Bill Belichick draft 6th-round wide receivers, seemingly praying that they're the next Julian Edelman? And we traded for Juju McSchuster, who seemingly can't catch a ball.
Well, the Juju trade is not panned out the way they wanted it to. But I'll say this about receivers. You can find receivers in late rounds. 6th round, okay, that's stretching it. But you can find receivers in the 3rd round, and 4th round.
There are. It's a pretty deep spot. It's probably the position. Does you think it's the position that gets the most guys taken every year? I mean, I think if you probably consider defensive back as one instead of corner safety, it's probably defensive back. But, yeah, I agree with Hardy. There's a lot of wide receivers that get selected, and there'll be 15 or so every draft that are productive players. Yeah. So, some will be stars, but there'll be some productive guys like Demario Douglas that you got in the 6th round.
Yeah, that's what I made the point when you were out.
Douglas has been good.
Go ahead. I hate when this happens.
Yeah, it's fine. No, I can't do it. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for the phone call. No, I mean, why did they do it? Well, you just said Demario Douglas. That's why you do it.
And he says, and I'm not picking on Adam, but he's he's trying to find the next Julian Edelman. Well, where was Julian Edelman selected? In the 7th round. So that's where you get undersized slot guys,
right?
Yeah. If and I think if they're extremely dynamic, then you can be Zay Flowers, and you can be undersized, but you're a little bit different athletically. I mean, I don't know. I feel like
I don't know. Deuce is doing that wince
if you
thing. I don't know.
Like, to me, it's a different. If you're looking for a slot guy, I don't necessarily want to invest a first-round pick in that. Like, if you're looking for a dynamic guy on the outside, like a Justin Jefferson, then sure. You know, Jamar Chase, guys that can play outside, inside, do it all.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm taking first-round picks, and I'm looking there.
That's right where I was going with just Zay Flowers. I almost feel like he was kind of a product of just a thin class last year, but it's
Maybe.
just, we talk about it every draft year, Paul, about just how many guys are on day 2 and how many guys have gone on day 2.
Day 2 is a great spot to do that.
It's rare to have that Marvin Harrison Jr. top of the top 10 kind of all-world kind of talent, but generally you're still trying to figure it out in those middle area of the first round. But I don't know. I did a whole thing, Paul, while you were out, of just saying, I always think that there's just take a receiver every year, trying to find those guys that, those early day 2 guys that often go around that time and are special.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Zay Flowers' stats, right? And I think he's been really, really solid. He's got 58 catches, 613, 10.6 a catch with 2 touchdowns. So that's a really good rookie year so far. But my reluctance to take those kinds of guys early on, because I wonder about the durability factor. I think slot receiver is only slightly ahead of running back in terms of durability.
Mm-hmm.
And
with Demario Douglas.
So and I'm looking here. So this is how he started off his career: 9 catches, 4 catches, 8 catches, 3, 5, 6. Right? Then it goes 4, 5, 1, 5, 3, 5. Like the first half of the year he was far more productive than the second half of the year, and I don't think that's an accident. I think those guys take a pounding.
They get banged
when
up.
every one of your catches happens generally in the middle of the field, you get hit on a lot of those catches. I think he's been terrific. I would certainly have taken Zay Flowers if they, in the draft, if the Patriots had taken him. I mean, I like Christian Gonzalez, but if the Patriots took Zay Flowers, would anybody be upset about that? I wouldn't.
No. And it is a violent game, as you have said,
Paul tells me that all the time.
It's a violent game, guys.
By the way, David Andrews, he might be getting a look at punter today. He was, in some of his warm-ups, very high leg kicks. Maybe it's a nod to the Rockettes, as it is the holiday season. But, boy, he's really stretching it out. I wonder if he plays angry today, based on what happened with his Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, I don't know if you guys have any commentary, but the college football playoff is set.
I see.
Oh, what do we got? What do we got?
Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama.
Wow.
So Georgia.
I do feel bad for Florida State, but I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think they got it right.
I don't know how you do it. I really
It's hard.
I don't know how you do it
I really feel bad for Florida State.
And I feel bad for Florida State. I kind of feel bad a little bit for Ohio State.
Oh, I don't feel bad for them at all.
Their one loss was to the top team in the country.
Yeah, I just don't think they were as good as the other.
I
feel worse for Georgia, who won 29 games in a row, lost 1, and they're out.
I see that one. I don't quite get it.
They lost by a field goal to try to win 30 games in a row, and they should be out. I'm not telling you that they should be in. That's tough breaks.
Just how you play at the end of the season.
And it's the conference championship game.
Alabama versus Texas.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the conference championship game. If Texas had one loss and they had lost yesterday, they're out. I don't care that they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Like, it matters.
All right.
But Florida State, that's tough.
Yeah.
All you can do is win all the games you play.
Right. Mark in San Antonio. Could you see Brian Flores return to be our head coach? I think his time away from the organization would be helpful in making a fresh start.
I'd put him after Mayo. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the relationship's like here with him or how that all goes. I mean, of course, if it's a new kind of thing going on, then that changes things. But
I heard some stuff about Flores last week, and it was a passing comment from either Zoe or I don't think it was Bert, but just something about like his time in Miami maybe is remembered
more fondly than it was.
Thank you.
I didn't hear that, but I would just say, do you think more or less of what Flores did in Miami based on what's happened since he left? Because I think less.
Yeah, I would say less too. I would definitely still take him back as a defensive coordinator, though. I mean, I love his style on that side of the ball, how aggressive he is. Talking about how do you replicate kind of the genius of Bill Belichick on the defensive side of the ball. I think I like what he does.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, I like his aggressive style on defense without question. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, he's tough.
Brian Flores.
He's got a great look.
People have talked to. I'm sorry, Paul. Did you?
No,
have something?
I agree with you. The point that I guess you were saying that either Zoe or Bert was making. I think he did a good job sort of reestablishing Miami.
Yeah.
But I think he did a brutal job with Tua. And I think that's the most important aspect, I think, of the head coach right now, is to make sure that he has a good relationship with his quarterback and that they can coexist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he did a terrible job with Tua. And then they got a new guy that came in, obviously a different kind of guy with his expertise on the offensive side of the ball. But the first thing he did was embrace the quarterback. And look at the results that he's gotten since. Even if Tua is not as good, you can't argue that he hasn't played better for McDaniel than he did for Flores.
And he's gotten some more help too with weapons,
Sure.
but he's played better.
He had Waddle
Yeah.
with Flores.
That's true. That's true.
Waddle caught like 100 passes for him.
Talking about like former coaches and coordinators and stuff, this has been brought up a couple of times. Like, what if Bill gets a head coaching job next year, brings in Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator, and Matt Patricia be his defensive coordinator? And I'm thinking like, yeah, it's possible. It's even plausible. And man, would I be scared? Would I be scared as an owner or a fan
The guy
base?
who hired that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have any reservations whatsoever playing against them.
I'd have a lot of different thoughts on it just because, I still think, Bill's a really good coach. I think maybe my bigger concern would be, like, can my guys pick up this offense? And, but, like,
Right.
if it's Bill with a new bunch of players and he's got some talent to play with and, everybody's kind of in awe of him and what he brings, I'd be interested in that. But my bigger concern would just be towards, all right, well, what kind of offense are they going to try to put in now? Is it going to be something new and cutting edge for these guys, or is it going to be something antiquated?
And that's why I'd be much more concerned about playing against Belichick with, say, let's just say Ben Johnson, just to have a guy. And in this hypothetical fantasy land, Bill not only wants to hire Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator, but he's really embracing it. And he's saying, you know what? Be the mad scientist on offense, and you do that. I'm going to leave you alone, and I'm going to just help whoever Matt Patricia on defense.
Yeah.
And I'd be much more concerned about playing that. No disrespect to Josh McDaniels. I just think a continuation of the way they try to play offense, I think, needs to change.
Just look at the results, though, of the offense. When they try to take it out elsewhere, and it's just it's tough.
I've said this many times. The Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offense, the Ron Earhart offense, has only worked with Tom Brady as the quarterback.
Think about that before you start hiring him.
Think about it.
Anywhere
in your mind.
I hate when people tweet that.
Think
Michael Penix is older than Justin Herbert. Think about that.
Let that sink in.
Why don't you just say it?
Well, you want to think about it or let it sink in?
We'd have to give it extra. I'm reading your tweet. I don't
think about it.
Think about this.
You think about it.
Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts. No matter how you choose to make them, think about this. Indoors or outdoors, scenic views or city vibes, solo or family style. Whatever moves you, whatever the season, think about planning your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. Let's do the six-pack.
This is the Sunday six-pack, so kick back and listen to my position. I'm itching to get the picks back. You better bring a big stack. Get it mixed, Jack. I came to win it, yeah, this is the Sunday six-pack.
All right, I haven't even looked. What happened last week? What happened?
Hardy 6-0.
Save it for last. Do it again.
Yeah, build up to it.
Do it again.
Don't you go with the winner first?
I thought so.
Yeah.
Mike and Paul 2-4. Hardy 6-0.
Wait a second. I went a perfect 6-0 on the picks against the spread last week.
You did.
Wow. And I have a question as to why a certain game is not on our list of picks here today. Like the game.
San Francisco, Philadelphia.
Why are we not picking that game?
I don't know. I don't pick the games. Why you about to be bugging?
I couldn't tell you.
You be tripping, boo.
All right. Well, that'll be a bonus pick just to have some fun with. That will not count toward the.
I apologize, Hardy, that my picks aren't good enough for you.
Wow. Now you hurt his feelings. You see what happens?
Apology.
Now we have a disgruntled producer for the post-game show.
No, it's not. He apologized. I accept your apology.
Paulie.
He's sad.
Overestimating how much I care. 1 p.m. 8-3 Detroit Lions at the 5-6 New Orleans Saints. Detroit -4.
Okay. What do you
All
got,
right, I got to start us off with a pro Hardy pick. I'm going with the Lions on the road to win.
Like it.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions as well for a little bounce back. Had a little break, bad feeling, bad taste in their mouths after that terrible Thanksgiving performance. Hardy, they bounce back.
I think this is a very popular pick across this great land of ours
But
this
if
week.
they don't,
Take the
talk to Hardy after the game.
Yeah. Take the Lions, lay the points. We're all taking the Lions.
The 2-10 Arizona Cardinals at the 7-4 Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh -5.5.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I don't like laying all these points, but I will. I think at home, the Cardinals playing hard, but this will be a tough atmosphere for them. I'll take
Laying
the
all
Steelers.
these points, 5.5 points. I got no problem
Steelers
laying.
haven't been able to score.
I don't care. I got no problem laying 5.5. I'm with you, Paul.
Yeah, me too. Pittsburgh.
The 8-3 Miami Dolphins at the 4-8 Washington Commanders. Miami -10.
I think there's some rain there as well, just to give you guys some info.
I love the rain.
Yeah, and I tell you who else loves it. Sam Howell loves the rain. He's a mutter. His father was a mutter. His mother was a mutter. Take the Commanders.
I'm with Hardy. I'm going to take the Commanders. I still think Miami wins, but 10 points.
Yeah, I'll take Miami. I think the Commanders have sort of gotten to the stage of that season where they're just playing it out.
The 5-6 Atlanta Falcons at the 4-7 New York Jets. Atlanta -2.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Falcons here. I think this Aaron Rodgers stuff, Jets a little bit distracted. I like the Falcons on the road.
I will take the Jets defense to make life very difficult for Desmond Ridder. A lot of turnovers today. Jets, outright.
What does Deuce know? What does Deuce
Sharp.
know about this?
I don't
He's
know.
taking the favorite like he always does. That's why he's in the last place.
Oh, jeez, that was hurtful.
I don't think he knows nothing. I'm taking the Jets. Paul and a Hardy on the Jets. Deuce on the Falcons. Sunday Night Football. What's the matchup?
The 8-3 Kansas City Chiefs at the 5-6 Green Bay Packers. Kansas City -5.5.
I'm going to take Kansas City. This is my bigger question, Hardy, is why is the Niners-Eagles not in this spot? But anyway, I will take Kansas City.
Oh, you mean in the Sunday Night Football spot?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't like flexing games unless there's a really, really good reason to do that.
Don't be disrespectful.
What?
It's true.
I
got
Who are you taking?
I took Kansas City. City.
I'm gonna take Kansas City also.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kansas City too. I still think Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, it's the most potent combination in the league still, and they're still my Super Bowl favorites.
The 4-7 Los Angeles Chargers at the 2-9 New England Patriots. The LAC -5.5.
I am taking the San Diego Superchargers of Los Angeles to win this game by a margin of 7 points, 20-13 Chargers.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me too. I do feel there's a chance that if the LAC doesn't feel like playing today, the Patriots could pull it out. Probably need some defensive special team scores or some big plays. But I also am going to go with the LAC. I'm going to say 23-13.
That's my exact score, 23-13. I do agree. There's a whiff of the Chargers not wanting to be here that I kind of feel.
I smell it.
And you never know if that's the way it ends up unfolding. But I will take the Chargers to have enough offense with just the three guys. I think it's Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, and Herbo.
Jay Herbo.
And that's enough to get it done.
All right. He's got a whiff. You know what I just caught a whiff of? Some Dom's sausage. I don't know where it. The official steak tip of the New England Patriots.
It smells good.
I don't know.
Those things are good. We're probably going to get some in a second here.
I hope so. Those
What makes you say that?
They have them every game.
Oh, okay.
You can order them online for nationwide delivery at domsausage.com. Use promo code PATS15 for 15% off. That's promo code PATS15.
Pats.
Who do you like in the Hey Deuce. Who do you like in that Eagles-Niners matchup?
Really uncomfortable.
I don't know.
Niners on the road in Philadelphia this afternoon. Niners are a 3-point favorite on the road in Philadelphia.
That's
West
crazy.
Coast team coming east.
It's crazy.
Philadelphia.
This is crazy.
Got a thing. They got rolling, and they're home dogs.
I know. It's crazy. We were kind of split on the show. I went with Philly. I still feel like they're just – I don't know. It's like, are they – not hitting their potential, or are they just kind of bored and they're waiting to kind of be? I think this game will have their full attention. I think they've been disrespected. I like Philly.
I like Philly to win it outright. Forget about the covering.
Yeah,
I really do.
There's the disrespect word has been used a lot, and last week the opening line was -1 for Philly. So it's moved 4 points.
People love San Francisco, and
I think San Francisco is going to blow their doors off.
Oh,
because I think Philadelphia has been walking a tightrope for a month and a half, and I think finally they're going to play a team that doesn't hand it back to them, and maybe the officials won't call every penalty on the opponent in this game the way they have against Miami, against Buffalo, a couple of games like they've gotten very far. Dallas. They've been very fortunate in some of these games at home. I think it ends today.
Those soothing sounds tell us that the Patriots pregame show, fueled by Dunkin, is over. It's over, Johnny. We hope that you'll join us after
Over
the
Macho
game
Grande?
for the postgame. Never over Macho Grande. Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.